We met at the New York Public Library at a library convention. I was going to be moving to Cleveland, and Kitty and her husband already lived there, and they were heads of branches of the library that I was going to be in charge of. I really don't remember much about that party because there were like 5,000 people there. So when I got to Cleveland a month later, we had a much smaller party, although there were still about 50 to 60 people there. And I remember meeting a lot of very, very nice people there. And you and Bob were just absolutely wonderful, because we didn't know we all came from Pittsburgh, but we've discovered that we did, so we had that thing in common. Neither one of us was looking for a relationship. You were already in a relationship, been married for 15 years, and my catastrophic fear was I would meet somebody and end up having to stay in Cleveland for the rest of my life, so I wasn't really interested in meeting anybody. As the years went on, I realized that I just really looked forward to every time I got to work with Kitty and do anything with her, because she was just an absolute joy and so smart and just a really nice person to be around, and so was Bob. And so we all got to be very good friends. And as I was about to leave Cleveland, things just sort of shifted, and I really, I can kind of pinpoint when that happened, but it was just one of those things that evolved, and the two of us seemed to feel the same way. And then the next thing that happened was I was going to Texas to teach a semester for someone that was going on a sabbatical, and you decided you would drive with me, because that was a fairly long drive. When we got there, we had a really good time. The dean of the library school realized that this was more than just a friendship, and so she decided to offer Kitty on her doctoral program. So she did, and so she stayed. Now, she was not planning to stay in Texas, so but she did, which was wonderful. And so we got to spend 5 idyllic months really getting to know each other on a deeper level, and sharing this wonderful sprawling Texas farmhouse. It looked like that one in Dallas that the Ewings, I forget what that's called, but it was really a fabulous time. And then at the end of that, I decided to start your doctoral program at Pitt and got a fellowship. And then I got this wonderful job in Columbus, Ohio. So we weren't really very far away from each other. And we saw each other quite often, usually every weekend. And we just thoroughly enjoyed each other, and we had a lot of fun in the cold north with all the snow, and we had
That's wonderful.
cross country skis, and what were we thinking? Then we came to our senses, and when you started looking for jobs after your doctoral program, you decided to apply in warm places, one of which was North Carolina. And when you got the job in Raleigh, I decided to leave my really fabulous job in Columbus, and because I didn't want to be in Columbus without you, and you weren't going to Columbus, so I've been very successful in my career, and I had a national reputation and all that good stuff. So I didn't really mind leaving it, because how much of that do you really need? So we both moved to North Carolina and bought this little house in Raleigh, and that was a very special time in our lives, because we got involved in a church in Raleigh, and really enjoyed the people there. I asked you if you had any reaction to me on our first meeting, and you said no. I said, well, I made quite an impression, huh? My reaction was that I knew from the very beginning that you were just a very special person. I had no idea that 40 years later I was going to be still with you. Our story really parallels the changes that have taken place in this country over the past 40 years. Because when we started, we didn't really tell anybody anything, but our friends are not stupid. They could figure out pretty quickly what was going on. We didn't tell our families anything, but we showed up. I mean, you came to my family reunions and had a good time, and you were really good friends with my sister. Our families have always been extremely accepting. Surprisingly enough, the churches that we've been involved with had been incredibly accepting also. We weren't really just outwardly a couple or anything like that, because that simply wasn't done in the late 80s. So our love has grown and changed dramatically. When we moved to Florida, Kitty got a job as the director of the Gulfport Library, and Gulfport is a very multicultural, accepting community, and so they had absolutely no problem with me from the time she walked in the door, and that was just, it was so freeing and so wonderful to just be part of a legitimate couple, and I really, really, really love that. We decided one year that we were going to go to Alaska for a cruise, and Kitty came home from work one day and she said, we're going to Canada. We're going to sail out of Vancouver. And she said, you know what you can do in Canada? And I said, no. She said, you can get married. So we set up the entire celebration on the internet. Flew to Seattle and met some friends, and then we took there was this bus that we took up to Vancouver, and went to Chinatown to get the certificate that you had to have. Then we met with the commissioners, that's what they were called. And so the commissioner and you and me and these two witnesses, we had this lovely ceremony in the garden in the hotel in Vancouver. And then when we got on the ship, we told everybody that we met that we had just gotten married, and everybody was delighted. They were just delighted. And so were we. So that was 2009 when we did that, and marriage wasn't legal in the US, but it definitely was legal in Canada. So when we came back, we had to wait about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years or something like that till marriage was legal in this country. But when it did become legal in this country, we woke up that day and we said, now we're officially married.
Yes.
Which was pretty cool. We've had a lot of fun. We've enjoyed our time together, and all the trips we've taken, and the family. Oh my gosh. We get on a Zoom call with my older brother and his 5 children, all of whom Kitty has known their entire lives. And it's just wonderful because we have this shared 40-year history with them. And it's just also so joyful, and we've had a lot of ups and downs, and now our society has moved on to the point where people can be who they are, and celebrate that we have had a wonderful life together. We've had a lot of fun, and we've laughed a lot. I loved being in Vancouver. And then we went back there when we went on the cross Canadian train ride. Oh my gosh, that was so glorious. Those
still there, we could go.
I know, the Canadian Rockies, and it was winter and it was snowing. It was absolutely gorgeous. And we thought, thank you, Canada, for ordering the snow for us.
We sang the Oh Canada.
Well, we decided that since they were so gracious in allowing us to get married, we'd at least learn their national anthem. We actually can sing that. We don't sing it now. No,
we don't do.
I hope our story is an inspiration to other people. It certainly has been an inspiration to some of my nieces and nephews, 2 of whom are gay and are going to have a much easier life because of us. Both have been married for quite some time now, and I'm very proud of that and very pleased that I was able to have a positive influence on them and made their lives easier. So we've had a
That's
lot
it.
of fun and we've laughed a lot.
Yeah.